So since the country has reopened, many activities are still happening virtually. School, happy hour, holiday family dinners. However, one thing that's not done virtually is public meetings, and at least one area on the First Coast isn't happy about it. Our Jessica Clark joining us live tonight from St. Augustine and tells us what city leaders are doing about it. Jess.
Good evening, Anthony. Tonight, the City of St. Augustine's City Commission will vote on a resolution to ask Governor Ron DeSantis to allow online meetings for things such as city commission meetings and planning and zoning meetings. Once again, they had been doing this in the past because in the spring, the governor issued an executive order which said that local governments can have public meetings online, but that then expired in November. And now cities all across Florida have been meeting in person. The city of St. Augustine doesn't want to do that. They don't feel it's safe right now, especially with the surge in coronavirus. And so they plan to vote on this resolution asking the governor to let them meet online again.
And all the guidance documents coming down and recommendations of the White House task force and public health and the science is don't gather in rooms. And so it seems pretty self-evident that it would be safer and set the right example if local government could follow the science on this topic.
And other local municipalities around the state have done the same thing that St. Augustine is planning to do tonight, which is simply pass a resolution which says, hey, Governor, can we please meet online again? The city manager even told me, you know, if other places like businesses and state agencies can meet online, local governments should be as well. We'll find out what happens this evening. Live in St. Augustine, Jessica Clark, First Coast News on your side.
Jess, thanks.